The football world is sad this morning as a legend. And I was thinking about this last night. So we got the news that the great John Madden had passed away, and the NFL announced it last night. It happened suddenly. And I was thinking about the word legend, and I was thinking about how frequently we overuse the term legend when describing something, not about somebody who has passed, but just about something that took place. A legendary performance after a quarterback on a Sunday, a legendary game, a legendary stretch of play from somebody. And I felt like last night, in describing John Madden as a legend, was actually underselling the influence that he had on the world of football during his 85 years on this earth.
Phil, when you look at it, John Madden is football. He was football, still is football, will be football for as long as football is around and exists. One thing I love about John Madden growing up and watching him as a broadcaster is his distinctive voice and how he made the game of football so easy to understand to the common folk. And those things are great. Great for football, great when you're an announcer. My receiver coach Terry Rabisky that I played for my entire career actually played for John Madden, and I think he coached under John Madden as well. So he has a Super Bowl ring from being with John Madden, and he used to tell us all kind of stories. And I think one of the things that stood out to me when it came to John Madden is the different personalities that he had to manage, right? And I thought he did a great job of doing that as a head coach for the Oakland Raiders, and has the highest winning percentage ever. As an Oakland Raider, as a head coach, just a guy who epitomizes the word legend. And I think we can even take it further. If there's something even higher than legend, I think John Madden
I was thinking
is
about
that,
the
is that
NFL if
guy.
there was ever a Mount Rushmore architected for the NFL, the most influential figures over the history of this great game. And I think there's a very strong case that John Madden is one of the foremost influential figures this game has ever seen. And Harry, you mentioned that John Madden was an outstanding head coach. And he was. He has the highest win percentage for any head coach that coached at least 100 games in NFL history. All right, so that right there is one chapter of John Madden. There's also the broadcasting chapter of John Madden. He called 11 different Super Bowls on 4 different networks.
Wow.
And anybody who uses Twitter saw a million different clips last night of iconic moments of John Madden's style that made him so unique and so different. And certainly his legendary pairing with Pat Summerall was one of the best ever. And here's the craziest part, Harry. I bet if you did a straw poll of 1,000 people walking the streets of any community that you live in, first of all, I would guess that the percentage of people that know the name John Madden was like 995 of 1,000 people. And I bet of those 995, the overwhelming majority may know him or may first think of him for the lasting legacy that he has as a video game pioneer. Madden football is the most legendary sports game, to use that word once again, in the history of video games. What do you think of, if I had told you this, yesterday, if I had asked you before we learned this news of John Madden's passing, like, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you for John Madden? What would it have been?
Yeah. Madden football, the video game. It's just like Michael Jordan in the Jordan brand. John Madden has that same thing with the football game, Madden. And I'll be honest, I'm going to go ahead and let y'all know I didn't play video games growing up, but everybody around me did. So I was always around guys playing Madden and, hey, what can I do on this play? What can I do on that play? And they were drawn to it, even still to this day, right, Phil? We see players and guys, and they just love Madden. Madden, it's because of John Madden. And it's crazy how, like, when you get into broadcasting, right, and you're trying to find your distinctive voice, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people have done getting into this industry, John Madden is a guy that you look to who had that distinctive voice, right? It doesn't matter where he was, you understood it was John Madden because that voice, I think you couldn't ignore, and you understood who it was.
We're talking about
and
football
when it
being a
was.
copycat game. In sports media, a lot of us are trying to emulate others, people who have reached the mountaintops, and you couldn't emulate John Madden. No one has been able to because his voice was so distinct, his style was so unique, and so many things that he did were so just John Madden that anybody who tried to replicate them would do nothing more than try to chase a ghost. So he's going to be remembered in so many different ways. And you mentioned that you didn't play a lot of video games growing up, but did you ever, like, Madden ratings are a thing, right? Like, I constantly see players griping about their speed rating needed to go up or whatever it might be. Tom Brady had that hilarious video recently, sort of chirping Peyton Manning about his, I think it was elusiveness rating on Madden. Like, it's amazing how much it's permeated the world of sports. And I feel like in locker rooms, and you could certainly speak to this better than I could, like, this was the kind of thing that was at least brought up amongst teammates. Maybe in friendly banter, but Madden ratings, that's like a chapter in every team's story.
Listen, that used to be hell in the locker room. Oh, your Madden rating sucks. Oh, my Madden rating is high. We used to laugh and joke about that all the time, man. And that's the first thing when the video game used to come out, whatever year it was. That's the first thing people would look to. What's my Madden rating? Or, man, I used to use you all the time on Madden. Or, man, I used to use this player on Madden. Even guys in a locker room used to use other players from other teams on Madden just so they can have a competitive advantage when they're playing other people. So he will never be forgotten. He will always be memorized. And I'll say this. You knew the game was big when him and Pat Summerall were announced in the football game.
You certainly had there's a special aura surrounding any game that those two men called. And we're going to remember John Madden throughout the show this morning. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2006, 22 years after he first became eligible. We'll one day look back and wonder why it took that long, but part of what made John Madden so good at this job is how much he enjoyed it.